welcome to episode 118 of Did You Bring the Hummus podcast. I'm Kimberly, your host, and I am super excited to be here with you today. Did You Bring the Hummus is a podcast for all things vegan. Episodes post every Monday on your favorite podcast app. Before we get started, I have one very important question for you. Did you bring the hummus? Visit my website to learn more about how to support the podcast, sign up for a meditation session, and everything else I'm up to. Links in the show notes. I have joined forces with Jennifer Shlomovich of The Confident Vegan to bring you the next great thing in morning TV, That Vegan Morning Show, which airs on YouTube every Monday at 7 a.m. Eastern. Join our mailing list and get a free recipe ebook of some of our favorites. Today, I am joined by Terri Chrisman. Terri is a board-certified nutritionist with the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, a renowned speaker, podcaster, and author of Fabulous Health, a simple plan to get well and stay well, published this year in June 2025. She is the founder of the Fabulous Health Show podcast and fabuloushealth.net. We cover Terri's vegan journey, chat about our dads, social media and misinformation about health, what the word vegan means, her book Fabulous Health, Hummus, and more. Hey, Terri, welcome. I'm so glad you're here with me tonight.
Thank you so much for having me, Kimberly. I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so excited. I was flipping through your book and I have so many questions and things that I want to chat about. But first, I want to ask you to share your vegan journey.
It's long.
Okay.
It wasn't an overnight thing. So it took 30 years, 25, 30 years. It's a long time. And in my book, I say to people, I hope it doesn't take you 30 years because hopefully the stuff in the book will help you kind of transition a little bit quicker. But when I was 18, I considered myself a little bit chunky. Yeah, and I wanted to lose weight because we're all really egotistical and we all think skinny is great when we're 18. And I was probably only about 60 kilos or something, which is like about 140 pounds. But, you know, when you're 18, you think that's enormous. And I wanted to give up something that wasn't chocolate. So I thought I had no knowledge of nutrition whatsoever. I was 18 years old. And I thought, what can I give up that's not chocolate? And I thought, well, I can give up meat because I don't really like hurting the cows and I want to stop, you know, I'm not really into killing animals. And I never, ever ate seafood. It just was never on my radar. And so I thought, well, I'll just give up meat. So I did. And so I was vegetarian for like 25 years or something. And I thought that I was, you know, next to God by being vegetarian, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I had this girlfriend who was vegan and she kept sending me all these really disturbing videos of animal cruelty. Mm. And I said to her, you've got to stop that because I don't need to see that. It's upsetting me. And anyway, my angel wings, I've been vegetarian for 25 years, so I'm not doing any of that nasty stuff. And then she told me about dairy and she told me about the egg industry. And I was like a lot of people, I was buying free-range eggs and I had kids at that stage and I thought that the little chickens were running around in the pasture doing little chicken things, having fun, and Farmer Brown was calling them in at the night time and everybody was happy and, you know, they were happily laying their eggs and it was all rainbows and unicorns. And we've just been sold such a lie. Mm-hmm. And when I learnt the truth, well, Kimberly, you can't unlearn the truth, right? So
that's the truth.
It was like overnight. There, I was just like, nah, I cannot be complicit in this torture. And plus, at the time I was doing my master's in nutrition, I was reading a lot of scientific studies about, you know, how you get heart disease and all this kind of stuff. And I realized that, yeah, dairy and eggs were not good for you, like physically, breast cancer and high cholesterol and, saturated fat and pus and all the nasties. And I just thought, that's another double reason, nail in the coffin, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I just said, that's it. I'm not doing it ever again. And I just like that. One day I just said, okay, on the 1st of November 2015, I will never eat any more eggs and dairy. And people often ask me how my family handled that, which maybe that was one of your questions. I'm sorry for stealing it, but they just have to fall in line. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Like, I'm cooking the food, and I'm buying the food at the supermarket. So if you think I'm going to buy you eggs and dairy, you've got another thing coming.
I love it.
You just have to handle it, which I don't suggest people do, by the way. In my book, I don't suggest people do that at all. I mean, look, the whole family was vegetarian. My kids grew up vegetarian, so it wasn't a big deal to buy soy milk instead of regular milk and soy yogurt instead of regular yogurt. And I just didn't buy eggs. I didn't notice, right? It was that simple.
That's great. And that was my approach too. I mean, I was vegetarian for like 14 years before I went vegan. I went vegan in 2015 as well. And I was in my 20s, so I was like dating and, moved in with the person I was dating and would go away with people. And I was always the one who was like, I'm not touching animals. I'm not cooking animals for you. I'm not buying it. I don't want it in the fridge. And they just kind of, and they just had to deal with it. And
that's just, right.
I was like, this is it. And I think because I was just dating and I didn't have like, kids or a spouse where we were already kind of in a flow and a habit and kind of a lifestyle, that I would just come in hot with it. Like, hey, guess what? And we're either going to go out again or we're not.
What? I love that self-confidence. And that's a resolve, right? Because obviously that's a moral standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of vegans have the moral standpoint because they don't want to harm the animals, right? And I know some vegans out there say, well, I won't push my views on you. And if you want to eat a steak, that's fine. And look, I would feel that if somebody tried to tell me what to do on my moral code, I'd be like, no, this is where I am. Like, I tell people that I don't buy leather shoes. Like, sorry, I'm not buying leather shoes. And if you're a vegan, that's like normal, like duh.
Mm-hmm.
But other people think, why? You don't eat shoes. Like, why would you? I had to order a special car from the car dealership because I didn't want the leather seats, and they didn't make the model that I wanted in without the leather seats. So I had to get them to build me a damn car.
Nice.
So things like this, but I really, really honor that resolve, because in your heart you said, yeah, this is my line in the sand. This is my, I'm standing on this mountain and you can't push me off the mountain. And I really think that when you feel that way, it's like I say to people, sometimes it's like being a born-again Christian. It's like all of a sudden you see the light, right? And I am not a born-again Christian, and I don't want to insult any born-again Christians, because I have some friends who are, and they're lovely people. But they saw the light, right? And I saw the light. And once you see the light, you cannot unsee the light. Yeah. So good for you.
Thank you. And good for you too, being like, hey, get on board. This is what we're doing now. And yeah.
I know some people struggle with that, though, dealing with other people.
Yeah.
And I did put a whole chapter in my book about that, because some people are not eating whole food plant-based because they want to save a cow or a chicken, right? They're doing it because they want to save their own life, and they don't want to get heart disease, or they don't want to get diabetes, or they've already got heart disease and diabetes and they want to fix it. And they're not on the mountain yet. They might be climbing up the mountain and they're trying hard, but they've got all these outside influences, friends and family, that are like pushing them off the mountain, like they're, snow and ice and sleet, and all the family are like pushing them off the mountain and trying to get them back down. And they really want to climb that mountain, but it's just really hard. Yeah. And they have to deal with other people. So I do have something in the book there for those people who maybe don't have the confidence. And I don't expect anybody to have the confidence day one, right?
Right.
You and I had the confidence day one because we were like hit with the lightning bolt, right? And then nothing could change us. But a lot of people, it's not like that. It's like a gradual step by step by step. Well, my first step, was 30 years. Your first step was 14 years.
Yep. Nice long step.
You took the elevator right straight to the top.
Yeah. And I think too, when people are doing it for their health, very often people around them may feel less threatened because it doesn't make them think about what they're contributing to. But it also makes it very easy for somebody to be like, oh, you can just cheat on your diet tonight. It's your birthday, or it's my birthday, or we're going on vacation. You can just eat whatever you want. This is just your diet. And completely negating that they're doing it because they're trying to save their own life. And sometimes, when you're vegan, you can kind of get that too. Like, what do you mean you're not going to eat this? We're on vacation. This is fun. Like, aren't we going to eat what we always used to eat? And when you get really clear on why you're not doing that, because like veganism is like this stance that you're taking. It's not just, hey, this is what I eat now. And people can really get kind of upset by that. And I know that people...
It's funny, isn't it, that they're threatened by your actions?
Yeah.
Go figure, right?
Right? Yeah, if you ever...
Yes, well, if you look at social media now, it doesn't matter what you're talking about. There's going to be somebody threatened by your actions.
Right.
Whether it's what you eat, who you date, where you live, what you buy, what your views are on certain things. Like somebody out there is not going to agree with you, and they're going to tell you about it. Which I live in the Terri bubble, which is I believe what I believe, and you can believe what you want to believe, and that's cool, right? And when we come together, our bubbles, they might pating, but then they go away again, right? So it's like being in those... Have you ever seen those huge soccer balls that people jump inside of, and then they go in a swimming pool and they smash into each other?
Yeah.
That's where I live. I live inside that soccer ball. And if somebody else has different ideas to me, we just pa-ching and then off you go. Like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I mean, look, when I say I don't care, it really does upset me that people still eat meat, but I don't say it to them. I don't poke them with the stick, right?
Yeah.
I don't say, why are you eating that steak? You're ruining the environment and you're killing the cows and you've got no moral code. Imagine if I said that to everybody. I just have no friends, right? So I have to maintain my life in my bubble and just let other people come to the realization if and when they ever do. And it's hard to do, but sometimes you just got to.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. There are people where I don't really engage in that way. And maybe you just happen to have a copy of your book nearby and you just pick it up and you slide it in front of them.
Yeah, I have a friend who is the complete opposite to me when it comes to nutrition. And this friend, I hope this friend doesn't listen to this podcast, and he has no nutrition knowledge whatsoever, yet he's full of opinions. And we have a little bit of a banter. It's kind of fun, right? Because I kind of have a go at him. He kind of has a go at me, but it's kind of like a little argy-bargy fun. But really deep down in my heart, I wish he would listen.
Yeah, and it's frustrating when people who don't know, and we see this on the internet every single day, people who don't know the science, they don't understand, they just jump onto a trend, and now they're sharing information that, can sometimes be harmful to the people who see it and go, oh, I'm going to do that. That sounds like something that will help me, or I would like to try that. And it can really end up not going well when we show up and we're like, hey, do this thing. And we have zero background as to like what it really means. scary.
Yeah, and the problem, like I saw on Instagram the other day, Rip Esselstyn played a clip from some guy telling everybody to eat butter.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't understand why this guy wants everybody to eat butter, because there's no science saying that butter's beneficial. And I piped in I piped in the chat and I said, I don't understand what's in it for him. Does he own like shares in the butter company? Because that's the only reason why any adult person would get on Instagram and say, eat butter.
Yeah.
Because where's the benefit to him?
Mm-hmm.
When people are on social media and they're suggesting that you do X, Y, and Z, usually there's a pushback. Normally there's something beneficial to the person on the video. So, and look, I'll be quite transparent here. When I'm on social media and I'm telling people to eat plants, the benefit to me is you might buy my book, right? Or you might follow me on the Insta webs or whatever, or watch my YouTube videos, and that's the benefit to me. The benefit to you is that I'm trying to help you with your health.
Mm-hmm.
When you see some guy promoting something that scientifically is known to be damaging to human health, he's harming the people he's talking to. But what's in it for him? I just don't know.
Right? Yeah. Is it an ego thing because he tells people to do something, and even though there's no science behind it, there's actually science against it, that he feels like it makes him feel a certain way? Or does he have a coaching program where he teaches you how to incorporate butter into every meal of your day? Like
He's the butter guru. And when you get views, you get money, right? So
yeah.
maybe that's what this butter guy is doing. He doesn't actually care what he's saying. He's saying there's a lot of people out there that like butter, right? Whether, it's not good for you. And if you were a person that liked butter and you watched him saying, hey, it's okay to eat butter, then maybe you're going to follow that guy. So there's probably, I would say, exponentially more people on the planet that like butter that believe that butter's unhealthy. Right. So maybe he's just doing it for views, and those views turn into cash.
Yeah, that's
irrespective of what he's saying, right? If you tell people what they want to hear, they'll follow you. You and I, we tell the people what they don't want to hear, but what's good for them.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And look, I'm sure your listeners do want to hear this, but the people outside our little bubble, they're thinking, oh, but I really like butter.
Right. Don't ruin that for me. Yeah. But, going back to that whole thing with social media, you got me thinking, we've seen so many vegan influencers, air quotes, that are not vegan anymore. And
what's up with that?
I think it's the same thing that you were saying. Like they did it because it was getting them views, which got them money. And now, other things like carnivore diet and whatever are more interesting to people. So maybe they're getting more views now that they're going the other way than they were going vegan. And now they've got money coming in from a different. So like those of us who are here from an ethical standpoint would probably be like, you were never vegan. You were never connected in that way.
Yeah, you might have been.
They use that word to make money. Yeah.
My husband believes that all of social media is full of scammers. He says it doesn't matter who they are, they're a scammer. And I'm thinking, well, I don't think Rip Esselstyn's a scammer. I don't think the people at PCRM are scammers, and they're on social media. Yeah. And hey, I'm not a scammer. I'm on social media. So but a lot of people, you're right, they're in it just to make the cash.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it does break my heart a little, because I think it's also a misunderstanding of the word vegan.
Yeah.
And vegan is a moral line in the sand.
Mm-hmm.
Look, anybody can be plant-based and still buy leather shoes, and that's their prerogative. And I know lots of people who do that. But being vegan, it's a moral compass.
Yeah.
And we do not buy leather shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Cars with leather seats, and we don't buy lanolin for our skin, and cashmere jumpers and all the things. We just don't do it.
Yeah.
It's like I kind of put it like, would you give a Muslim pork? No, you wouldn't, because you know they don't eat pork.
Mm-hmm.
There's no difference in moral standpoint between a Muslim who does not eat pork for religious reasons and a vegan person who does not eat pork for moral reasons. There's no difference at all. Yet people respect the Muslim that they don't eat pork. We're not going to bring pork to a Muslim's house. That would be disrespectful. Yet I'll try and shimmy over, bring over a steak to your barbecue because you're vegan. No, I'm sorry. Take that piece of, dead flesh away and go cook it at your own house.
Yeah.
I don't let any animal products into my home at all.
Yeah.
And if I've got guests coming and they want to bring something, I inform them that everything has to be 100% plant-based, down to the, final ingredients on any packaged food.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, that's okay. Don't bring anything because I've got it catered. You don't have to worry. So it's not like I'm being mean.
Right.
I'm saying if you want to bring something, that would be lovely, but these are the parameters. And no one would ever decide that, let's bring some pork cracklings to a Muslim's house at Ramadan. Like, they just wouldn't do it. And I think there needs to be a conversation about respect. People don't respect vegans. They think, I don't know what they think, but I think it's the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. And yeah, I've definitely had people tell me, oh, you're too much. What's the big deal? Not so much now. That was when I was younger. People like that are not in my life anymore.
Exactly. Filter.
Yeah. But I'm with you. Like, don't show up to my house with animals, whether you think you're going to make them here or they came in a package. No way. We're not. Yeah. No way.
We're on the same team.
We are. And it's so interesting, Terri, that we have these similarities. We both went vegan the same year. And I love that you went vegan on World Vegan Day. So so just aligned. But also I started reading your book, and, you dedicate the book to your dad. And then you talk about your dad and the relationship that you guys had. And my dad is still here. And I am so grateful for that, because he had a heart attack when it was 6 months after my 21st birthday. So I'd only been vegetarian for about 6 months, a little more than that. And it was so scary. And he went through the quadruple bypass and all of that. But I remember when they got him to the hospital, we were standing around his bed, me, my brother, and my mom, and the doctor came in, and he explained to my dad what had happened and that he was going to need surgery because he had, a blockage here, blockage there. And my dad had been a smoker, but also his family, his sisters, his brothers, always overweight. His parents, his dad had uncontrolled diabetes. His mom was always struggling with trying to lose weight. And so he had that experience. So and the doctor was like, you got to stop smoking and you got to change how you eat. And I was so proud of being vegetarian at that point that I said, I'm vegetarian, I can help him. The doctor was like, yes, you can. And I was just
what an awesome doctor.
Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh, this was in early 2002. And, I was like, yeah, I'm going to help him and we're going to get him healthy. And, he's gone here and there. He eats well and then he doesn't eat well, and he's not vegan. So well is relative, right?
But he's still here, right?
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
Right. And then he had,
right.
Yes. And my mom is vegan, and she has been probably, I think, since 2017. So it's been a while. So he eats a lot of the stuff that she makes because it's just easier that way. And he likes it.
A bit lazy, right? And they'll just eat whatever their wife cooks them. Sorry to all the husbands who are not lazy and who do some cooking. But in my experience, my husband's plant-based mostly, but only because I make it for him.
Yeah. And, I'm reading your story and I'm feeling it's bringing up, things with my dad and my mom too, very tiny lady, really
Wow,
never
we're
struggled
twins.
with her weight. um, and she was never, food was never her main thing. But me and my dad, we were like, oh, is there bread? We're gonna eat all the bread.
Yeah.
And we would have like desserts every night. And when we would have dessert, it became like this thing where like I would get the ice cream out and put it into the bowls and put some cherries on it. And then before I was, when I was vegetarian, and then before that, and it became this thing. And he would always be like, oh, you make the ice cream with so much love. And it was this connection. We were always so connected around food. And my mom was always like, I don't get it. Just give me a meal and let me move on with my day kind of thing. And she would like enjoy it while she was eating, but it was not the experience my dad and I were having over here. Like, oh my God, give us more bread. And so I was reading your book and just like feeling all these similarities and then realizing like, I don't feel so great. And I have been struggling with trying to live optimally that way and really take care of my health. And it made me feel, and I haven't, gotten all like read the whole book and really dug in. I wanted to leave some questions for while we chatted. It really gave me hope that like
Oh,
I'm
awesome.
going to be able to do this. And yeah. So
Oh
thank
my
you.
goodness. I am just floored, Kimberly. It's like your story and my story is almost identical, except your dad dodged the bullet, right?
Yeah.
He's
Mm-hmm.
still there. So
Yeah.
there's still hope for him. And you and he together can just get healthier day by day, right? And
Yeah.
you're on the way anyway, right? Because you're already eating plants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a
Yeah.
gorgeous story. That is so beautiful.
Mm.
Well, I'm not an island.
What's that?
I'm not an island.
No. Nope.
That means there's got to be other people out there who really understand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. Well, I'm so happy that your dad is still here. And
Thank
I
you.
really, really hope that your dad listens to this podcast and he eats more plants.
Yeah. Well, he will listen. He does tune in. So yeah. So that's the message. Eat more plants, Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about your book. And how, I mean, I know that because I read that part, I know that your dad was an influence this way. Do you want to talk about him a little bit and kind of honor him in this moment?
Thank you. I'm going to cry. It's been
Oh.
33 years since he died, and it feels like yesterday.
Mm.
He and I are the same person. Do you know what I mean? Like, do you feel
Mm-hmm.
like that with your
Yeah.
dad? It's such a genetic connection with siblings, children and their parents. I've yet to find out which child of mine I feel the connection with. I'm not sure. But my dad and I cut from the same cloth. We liked the same things.
Mm-hmm.
No, he was just my everything. And to have him taken away with no warning whatsoever was the worst thing ever,
Mm-hmm.
ever. And I never really understood grief until that time because I had lost a cousin a couple of years beforehand, and it was sad, but there was a kind of disconnect because I didn't live in the same city as the cousin and I wasn't really involved in the day to day of his illness. And so I was grieving, but not really. My girlfriend, who I lived with at the time, you share households and stuff when you're in your early 20s. She lost her grandmother, and it was devastating for her. And I was patting her on the back, there. How can I help? Blah blah blah. But I just didn't really understand. And when I got the call from my mum, I felt like somebody had just ripped my heart out.
Mm.
And it's still gone. Like my heart's back in my chest, but the hole in my heart is still there. And I'm not a religious person, but I do believe as I'm getting older, I'm getting more and more spiritual. And I really believe that my dad is still around and that when I die in another 50 years, that'll make me 108, maybe
Nice.
maybe 53 years. Anyway, but when when I'm old and decrepit and I die, I truly believe I will see him again. I don't know in what form, whether it will be just particles floating around in the universe or whatever, but I think the connection is still there. And I really wish I could have had the last 30 years with him. But I also believe that life takes you where it takes you, and everything has a purpose. And maybe my dad was sacrificed so that I could help your dad and other people's dads and other people's mums and other people's sisters and kids and cousins. And I truly believe that's why I was put on the planet, is to help people not die of heart attacks, diabetes, stroke, Alzheimer's. Well, Alzheimer's, it's difficult, right? But I'm not quite qualified to cure Alzheimer's. But certainly there is cognitive decline caused by obstructions in the blood vessels of the brain, just like they are in the blood vessels of the heart when you have a heart attack or angina. And you lose cognitive function when those little capillaries get filled up with gunk, and the blood can't reach the brain tissue. So you get little micro death, micro death in your brain, not big enough to be a stroke, but big enough for you to forget where you put your keys, and then you forget where you live, and then you forget your husband's name. And, that's what dementia is, little tiny bits of brain tissue dying, and not uniformly, like in weird places, which is why people with Alzheimer's and dementia, 1 minute they can be completely coherent, and then 5 minutes later, they don't know where they are. It's because nothing's uniform. I've gone off on a tangent. But I do believe that I was put on this earth to help people. I remember being a kid. I don't think I've ever told this to anybody publicly. But when I was a kid, I had this feeling inside my body that I was meant for greatness. That was the saying that I had in my head. You are meant for greatness. That was what I thought. And when I first came out of high school, I got employed by the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, which is like the BBC in London, if you've heard of that. And I got a job very, very lowly level, and I worked my way up to be a national radio announcer. And I thought that's why I was put on the earth, because that's my greatness, right? That was before social media, where being a radio star was a thing, right? But then I left there and I realised that was not it. I realised that wasn't my calling. Yeah, I was doing well at my job and I was a little bit famous and all that, but that was not my calling. And then I started being a personal trainer and helping people get fit. And I thought, oh, this is my calling. Yeah, because I really want to help people get fit. But it just was never, nope, it's just not quite there. And since I've become a nutritionist and I'm helping people not die, I realised this is it. This is why I'm on the earth. So I probably wouldn't have gone down this path had I not lost my dad. I might have continued to be a fitness professional, or I might have stayed in radio, or, a million other things, right? Who knows?
Yeah.
But I kind of feel now that I am here to do what I couldn't do for my dad, because I wasn't qualified. I was a kid, I was young and had no knowledge and whatnot. And I wrote the book because if I'm talking to a client one-on-one, I can help one person. Yet I can sell 100,000 books, help 100,000 people.
Yeah.
By the way, I haven't sold 100,000 books. That would be awesome if I did.
Not yet.
100,000 people, right? So
exactly.
I'm putting out in the universe, 100,000 people need to get my book.
Yes.
And if people can't afford a book, you know what? They can get it at the library for free.
Yeah.
So I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter to me. As long as when people are reading the book, they go, oh, this can help me. Maybe if I start to have more veggies on my plate, or maybe if I start to go for a walk with the dog, or maybe if I start to turn off my Instagram at 7 o'clock at night instead of 11 o'clock at night, I might get some better sleep and I might
Yeah.
be in a better mood tomorrow, which means that when I'm in a better mood, I might decide to walk the dog instead of sitting on my couch being grumpy. So any little tiny thing that I can do to help a person be healthier than they were yesterday, I'm considering that's a win.
Yeah.
And so when I think about me being put on the earth because I was here for greatness, I think that's it. I
Yeah.
think that's a great thing.
I think this is a great thing, and Fabulous Health is definitely going to help any person whose hands it lands in. One of the things that is unique about Fabulous Health, and I really like and am excited to really dig into, is that it isn't just a book of science. Or it isn't just a book of here's how to do a meal plan or a book of recipes with some guidance ahead of it. There are questions and things that make you dig into yourself. And you're doing it just with the book. So there's no need to feel shy or concerned about whatever is coming up from these questions. It's just you and the book. So just let it out and see where it takes you. And it just feels really supportive too. The way that it's written, I think creates that sense of safety for someone to just really just open up and see what they're going to discover. And then yeah, it's not just eat more plants and do this. It's also, yeah, put your phone down at 7 o'clock. See what life can be like if you change these little things that might seem small but will have such a significant impact. Like you just gave such a quick example of you put your phone down, you're going to go to bed earlier, you're not going to be up doom scrolling all night, right? And you wake up the next day, now you're in a better mood. You can make better choices.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't
Yeah.
it? By the way, thank you so much for that
Oh,
very, very
yeah.
gorgeous description of the book. And I really appreciate that you like it. I'm going to tell you an exclusive that I've not told anybody else before. This is two things I've not told
I
anybody else.
know.
I am currently writing another book, which is a compendium to this book. You need this book
Hmm.
to have the other book. It's not either or. And it's, inside Fabulous Health, for people who haven't got the book, at the end of every chapter, there's a workbook. And the workbook's probably, 5 or 6 questions, some journaling. It's like 2 pages each chapter for you to think about. Well, the new book is 100% workbook. It's going to
Ooh,
be 150 pages
nice.
of workbook, of reflection, questions,
Mm.
journaling, asking yourself, is this helping me? Is this hindering me? What do I want? Where am I going? How can I get there? And I'm working on that as we speak.
Oh,
So there'll be a second book, which is going to be for you to fill in, and you don't have to show anybody. You don't have to, let everybody know I'm filling in this book. But I thought I did want to put in those questions because I want people to be in tune with their body. But look, we go on in our life just as if we're on the life train, right?
mm-hmm.
And you're just a passenger on the life train, and the life train goes over here, and so you go over there, and the life train goes over here, so you go over there, and you complain about it because it was sucky, or you're happy about it because it was good. Well, I'm not on a life train. I'm on a life bicycle, and I choose where I go. So I'm going to choose to turn left, to turn right, to go up the hill, to go down the hill, to stop, to start. And you don't know how to get on the life bicycle unless you're aware that the life train's taking you in a direction you don't want to go. You don't want to wake up one day in your 50s or whatever and need a quadruple bypass because you didn't pay attention. So I want everybody to get on the life bicycle, and I'm just making up these analogies today as they go. They're just blowing out of me. And I want people to be aware of where they are and go and just basically say, where am I? Am I happy? Am I unhappy? If I'm unhappy, what will make me happy? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Oh, I don't know how to do any of that. Oh, there's a book. Okay, I'll read the book. I won't try and do all of them at once. Let me try and do one thing. Oh, that's okay. Or, oh, I tried that. That sucked. I don't want to do that. Okay, we'll try something else. And then people become captains of their own life ship. Now I'm on a ship. Now I'm on a boat instead of a bicycle. But whatever. You want to be the person that steers your own life. You do not want to just go for the ride. Yeah. And so that's why I was like, well, that 100% transparency. The reason I decided to do the workbook is for the people who have the Kindle and the people who have the audio book, because they don't have paper, so they can't scribble things in the book. I want people with the paper books to scribble in them, to put sticky notes in them, highlighters, bent pages, torn pages. It's got to be a mess, right? So if I come to a book signing, or you see me down the street and you say, oh, Terri, can you sign my book? Which, by the way, I'm happy for it to do for anybody. If your book looks pristine and clean and has been on the shelf and the pages don't look like they've been opened, I'll be very disappointed.
Yeah.
I want your book to be ragged. So the new book that's coming out, I'm hoping quickly. I'm saying within a month or so. Ooh. Podcast comes out. Well, because it's a workbook, right? So there's a lot of blank space for you to write stuff.
Good point.
I'm hoping that it'll be out within depending on when you're watching this, I would hope the end of September 2025, maybe the middle of October 2025.
Okay. We'll keep an eye out.
That time when you're listening to this podcast, go get yourself a workbook.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'm going to do, Kimberly, is I'm going to make it easy for everybody to get. So you can purchase a paperback copy, because, hello, they cost money and I can't just randomly give them away.
Right.
Or I'm actually going to have the PDF for free on my website.
Oh, that's so cool.
I don't want anybody to miss out.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah, because look, you've already bought my book, right? So thank you very much for buying my book. I want to help you. If you want the paperback copy, you got to pay a few bucks for it. But if you can't afford the paperback copy, or you want to print it out on your own printer, which, by the way, will cost more, just say, print it out on your printer, it will cost more than buying the paperback copy from me or Amazon. If you want to do that, or I might even see if I can make it a fillable PDF. So I'm not sure. I'm promising. I don't know if I can promise, but you never know. I might be able to. Yeah. And then put it on their computer and do it for free.
That's so cool. Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about Fabulous Health. One of the things that I thought was really cool is your highlight of your 6 pillars. Can you maybe tell us what the 6 are, and maybe talk about 1 or 2 in a little more detail, just to give us an idea?
Yeah, sure. So the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine come from the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, which I am a member of, and I'm also a board certified diplomat of the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, which means I spent months and months and months studying their curriculum, which is made for allied health professionals and physicians. Okay. And we get this qualification so that we can prescribe lifestyle medicine to our clients and patients. And the 6 pillars are plant-based nutrition, physical activity, connection to others, absence of risky behaviours such as alcohol, smoking, and non-prescribed drugs, stress reduction, and restorative sleep.
Oh, nice.
Not in any order. That's just the order they popped into my mind. So if you can nail these 6 pillars, your life is going to be infinitely more healthy than if you don't nail any of them.
Mm.
Now, don't quote me on that. That's not scientifically based. But let's think about those things, right? You eat well, you sleep well, you move well, you hang out with people who you love. You're not taking all the, toxins into your body, and you're getting rid of the stress. What's not to love?
Yeah.
So even though I prescribe a whole food plant-based diet, it's not just what you eat, because even if you eat the cleanest food on the planet, if you are lonely and you stay up all night watching, playing video games, and you get stressed because you hate your job and you've got no friends, dude, that's playing havoc with your health just as much as eating, Cheetos and hamburgers at home. So it's really important to realize that human beings are not an island, and we need all these things. And I think Dr. Dean Ornish, back in 1990, when he proved that plant-based eating could arrest heart disease, he was smart. He didn't just put people on a plant-based diet. He got them into stress reduction techniques, improving their exercise. They got into community groups and they made friends, and he made sure everybody wasn't smoking and, monitored their sleep and did all the things, because he knew that if you did all the things, the results were going to be so much better than if you just did one of the things. But at the same time, I think somebody who is in that situation where they don't have a community, they don't have any connection, they don't know where to go, they're lost, they're sick, they feel terrible, they drown out their sorrows with alcohol, they think, oh my gosh, I can't do all that, that's just too much. And I kind of think it's like running a marathon. So I'm going to tell you a little story about me and running a marathon.
Yeah.
I've always been really, really fit, and I love running. And I used to run with the parents of the kids that my kids went to school with when they were little. So primary school, I think you call it in America, elementary school. So every morning we'd drop the kids off and we'd run around the fields in the countryside in England, which is where we lived at the time. And we would run 3 to 5 miles, and then that'd be it. And then we just do that again the next day and the next day and the next day. And then one of them said, let's run a marathon. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? That's 26.2 miles. Right. I can run 3 to 5 miles. End of story. That is it. Like, you want me to run 26 there's no possible way I can run a marathon. So guess what? I didn't. Not for years. Until one day I said, you know what, you can run a marathon. You can. So, all right, I'm not just going to get up and run 26.2 miles. That's just insane. So first thing, what am I going to do? I'm going to get a coach, because I can run 5 miles, no problem. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I don't think so. It's too scary. I'll get a coach, I'll get a training plan, and I'll work out how to do it. So I did that, and I followed the plan. And the thing about a marathon is, once you sign up to the marathon, you're in. Like, it's on the day. If you don't train, they're not going to move the marathon 3 weeks later because you train. You have to do the work. Yeah. So I would wake up and it'd say, run 9 miles. And I'd go, I having like a little palpitations in my heart. I've never run 9 miles before. How am I going to run 9 miles? It was so scary. So then I, get my shoes on, get my little pack with my little drinkies and my little headphones and my little watch that told me how far I was going, and I just run. And when 9 miles was up, guess what? I stopped. And I was like, oh, I just ran 9 miles. And then tomorrow it'd say, okay, you're going to run 10 miles. And the same thing would happen every single day. Oh, no, I can't do it. But I would. And it's the same thing with and eventually, of course, I ran the marathon, right? There's the happy ending. But it's the same thing with your lifestyle. Yes, it's scary. Yes, you're going to think you can't do it. Because if you thought you could do it, you'd be doing it. Yeah. And you're doing it. So obviously you think you can't do it. So when you make up your mind to change, don't believe that you should know how to do it day one. Just believe that you can do it and that it'll be scary and you'll fall off the wagon and you'll get back on, but you can do it, and I am here to help you. When you're stuck, you open the book and you say, oh, I just don't know what to eat for dinner. I really want spaghetti bolognese and I don't know how to make it without meat. I mean, that's what spaghetti bolognese is, right? And for Americans, that's spaghetti with ragu sauce. So, like, how am I going to make it? Oh, Terri says you can swap the meat out for lentils. Oh, that sounds freaky, but you know what? I'll just try it. And you might love it, or you might say, that was hideous. Oh, Terri says if you didn't like the lentils, maybe you could go get some soy crumbles. All right, I'll try. Yeah, it was all right. Actually, it's going to be fantastic. I'm just telling you right now. But just say you're one of those weird people who say that doesn't taste very nice. But anyway, you're just going to try, and you're not going to give up. Because if I said, I can't run 9 miles, I'm just going to sit on the couch today, I would not have that medal hanging on my wall right now, looking at me, reminding me of how freaking awesome I was in the San Francisco Marathon. The hills, which was far over the bridge. You know, if you had have asked me 12 months before, I was going, no possible way. And I think health is the same.
Yeah.
It's a mountain to climb, but you only just have to do it one step at a time. And you might go forward 3 steps and back 2 steps. It doesn't matter. You're still forward 1 step. The net result is you're still further down the road than you were yesterday. And if people have grace with themselves and don't expect themselves to be Olympic athletes the first day, then it's okay. It's okay to be crap at something.
Yeah.
The only way you're going to be good at something is if you practice.
Yes.
Again and again and again and again, and it's boring. Anything that you do that requires skill requires a lot of practice, and a lot of times it's tedious and repetitive and boring, and that's by design, so that when you get to the other end, you're an expert.
Yeah. That's...
So I didn't actually answer your question.
Oh, no, you're good. I've got another one for you. What was what was your favorite section to write? Or do you have a favorite section that you love to just go back and be like, this is good?
Yes, I think it's chapter 21 or 22. Let me have a look at the book. I think it's late. It's late. Yeah, chapter 21.
Okay.
Called Putting It All Together.
Oh.
So, and I actually say, and can I read a little bit of it?
Of course.
Okay, I'm going to read you the first paragraph. This is my favorite chapter because after reading thus far, you will finally put all this newly acquired knowledge into practice. You've learned so much and come so far. Now it's your turn to make this plan work for you. In this chapter, you'll learn 3 simple steps that will remove all the fear and guesswork of transitioning to a whole plant foods diet to improve your health. Are you ready? Let's go. So that's the first paragraph of chapter 21.
Yeah.
Because up until, I mean, can you believe it took me 21 chapters to explain it? It's not that complex, people. I just had to tell you everything.
Yep.
Yeah, I could have made this book half the size, but then you wouldn't have known all the things.
Exactly.
So I am in a group, a Facebook group of people who are students of Tony Robbins. You know, Tony Robbins, he's a motivational speaker. So I'm in a Facebook group of him, and we've bought his platform, and my website's actually on his platform. And we often talk about how we're doing. You know, I tried this, didn't work, blah, 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 blah. And I have completely lost my train of thought. So maybe cut this bit out. It'll come to me and then I'll tell you why I was going to tell you that. Oh, no, I remember.
Yes.
So somebody posted in the book, somebody posted in the Facebook group, do you give away your best stuff for free? Because they're all the people who are coaches and, oh, give it all away for free and people will buy your stuff. And I said to them, you know what? I used to give it all away for free and it got me nowhere. I got a lot of tire kickers, everybody who wanted to pick my brain, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do hour-long Ask the Nutritionist lives on Facebook where all
Wow.
the people in my Facebook group would turn up and ask me any question whatsoever. And I was giving it away like it wasn't worth anything. And then I thought, you know what? These people are not making any changes because they don't think the information has any value because they got it for free.
Right.
So that is why when I wrote the book, I'm finally coming around to the circle. That is why when I wrote the book, I made it 300 dang pages because I want you to have all the things, all the things. But you got to pay $25 for it or less if you buy it on Kindle.
Mm-hmm.
But because if you give away stuff for free, people don't value it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I told this person, hey, I'm selling books to the same people who got all my stuff for free. And I hope that when they read the book, they will take action because they put value on it.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $25 for this book. I'd better do something about it instead of this lady on the Facebook told me blah, blah, blah for free and whatever.
Right. That's a really good point. Yeah. I've seen it in my own work too, where if someone has attended something that I've done for free, they never become the people who pay for the same thing. So like if I offer this one thing, but I do like a free thing for an organization, like they're never going to come in, and even though they experienced it and they got, whatever out of it, and maybe it was meaningful to them in the moment, there's it's very hard to get them to go, well, now I'm going to do it again, but I'm going to pay this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I consider myself to be an excellent customer. So if you advertise something to me and I'm remotely interested in it, I'm buying it. Like I just want to get in. Oh, I want that.
Yeah.
I can help you get more customers on a website. Yeah, I'll buy that. Oh, I can help you how to make an audio book. Yeah, I'll buy that. But none of these people told me how to do it before I paid for it. They didn't say, hey, I'm going to give you a free webinar on how to make your audio book. Well, they do. They give you the webinar, but they don't tell you how to do it.
Right.
Tell you this is what you need to do. And you're like, how do I do that? I need to buy your thing. Otherwise, I can't do it. Right.
Yeah.
So I think people do place more value on things that cost them money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is sad because guess what? Eating whole food, plant-based doesn't cost you very much money. The books cost a little bit of money, $25, but you don't need to be a rich person to eat whole plant foods. In fact, you can be a very not rich person and still get all the nutrition you need. This myth about plant-based eating being expensive is a complete lie brought on by people who don't eat plant-based food.
Yes. That is so true. That is one of the things that we had talking about, and I want to be respectful of your time. We are definitely coming up on that hour, but
dude, I can talk forever. I just don't bore people senseless.
but yeah, so how can people eat well and not spend all of their money at the grocery store?
Well, the answer to this is so simple. Don't buy things in packets. So things in packets, in order to put something in a packet, and I'm not talking about plastic around your broccoli, I'm talking about any kind of processed packaged food. Somebody had to buy the ingredients from the farmer, and then they had to think of a recipe, and then they had to build equipment to make the whatever it is in the factory, and then they had to package it and send it off to you, and it all costs money. So and then they had to market it to you. Look, there's no broccoli lobby out there marketing broccoli to consumers. They just don't, because they don't need to, because people know that if they want to eat a broccoli, they'll just buy broccoli and it's green, and they know it's good for them, right? And they either will or will not. But if you are making let's even say plant-based, like a vegan cupcake, you have to market that cupcake to your people to tell them that it's yummy, and you've got to buy all the ingredients and make a little cupcake factory and whatnot. Those things are really expensive. So if you just stick to the food that comes out of the ground, there's one middleman: farmer, probably distributor, supermarket. And look, we all know the farmers don't get paid enough money, so how expensive can it possibly be? So all your fresh produce, your fruit, your vegetables, all your legumes and whole grains, you can buy them dried in the bulk bins or dried in packets, whatever you choose, and they are a fraction of the cost of buying them pre-cooked in a can. The other thing is canned beans, for example, some of them have salt in them. Some of them have bisphenol A, which is the toxic chemical lining inside the can. So you want to be really careful about that. But if we're just talking dollars, there are ways to shop so that you are the healthiest person on the planet just by buying whole plant foods. And that includes fruits and veggies in season. So if budget's an issue, don't try and buy cherries in February.
Right.
Like, if you know anything about a cherry tree, it flowers in spring, it fruits in summer for 6 weeks. End of story. You want cherries after that? Forget it. They're going to cost you an arm and a leg, because they're coming from New Zealand or Australia in January. And by all means, if you have $40 to spend a pound on New Zealand cherries, go ahead and do that, right? Or you can do what I do, and I buy frozen cherries that were picked in summer by the cherry farmer, because he can't sell all his fresh ones. There's just not the demand for them. He grows, if it's a bumper year, he's growing, tons more cherries than he can sell. He freezes them on the day, and then they're in the Costco freezer for you in January when you need them.
Yeah.
They're not any more expensive. So frozen fruits and veggies, really good for a whole plant food diet, because they're picked and frozen on the same day, particularly things like berries. So if you buy blueberries, for example, and let's say they're grown in Washington, they get picked in Washington, and then they go into cold storage for maybe a week, and then they get picked up by a truck, and then they get driven all the way to Delaware or New York or somewhere, right? And by the time you buy them, they're probably 2 or 3 weeks old. But the blueberries that you get in the supermarket that are in the freezer, they're like a day old, because they were picked, frozen on site usually, and then they're in the freezer. And what's happening in the freezer? Not much. I mean, sure, they have a shelf life of, I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year, maybe a year or something. But they're always going to be fresher than the fresh ones. I grow blueberries in my garden, and if I'm lucky, I'll get 2 blueberries a day for the season.
Are the birds getting there first?
Well, I just only have 2 blueberry plants, right? So
okay.
I want enough blueberries to feed my desires, which is basically 1 container of blueberries a day, because I get 1 container of blueberries a day. I would need to run a blueberry farm, and I'd need to live in different countries, because blueberries don't fruit every single day of the year. So, by all means, frozen fruits and veggies, dried grains and beans, and fresh in season. So, for example, if it's July, August, you're going to get apples, and you're going to get the end of the peaches, and zucchinis, crazy. If anybody's a gardener, they will know about the zucchini plant. If you have 2 zucchini plants, you are feeding the whole street with zucchinis. They're very prolific. So if you know any way to pickle them, to preserve them. You can freeze zucchinis. Yeah, they get a bit mushy, but who cares if you're going to make zucchini bread, right? Doesn't matter. So any way that you can, if you don't grow them, if you have to rely on supermarkets, when something's 49 cents a pound and you know how to keep that longer than fresh, then go ahead and buy 5 pounds of it for $2.50 and pickle it, dehydrate it, freeze it, do whatever you need to make zucchini bread and freeze the zucchini bread, right?
Yeah.
So do all those things so that you can save the most money, because you don't want to be paying $3.99 a pound for zucchini when it's not in season. You want to have, so there's a little bit of learning to be done.
Yeah.
And a little bit of thinking outside the box, but you can do it, and it's really not hard.
Yeah. And you know what I love about eating in season is that you can't get bored, because if you're eating just what's available, it's changing. It's changing throughout the year. So you're in your zucchini frame of mind right now and you're eating zucchini 3 times a day for a couple of weeks. Just know that that's going to end, and then you're going to miss the zucchini and you'll be waiting for zucchini season to come back. But I enjoy that so much, is it makes it forces you into variety and into trying new things. And there are thousands of edible plants in the world. Like, why not try them?
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. That's correct. I used to live in Dubai, and if you know anything about the Middle East, it's basically desert and sand. And I mean literal sand. It's like being on the beach, but with no water. There is water, but that's at the beach. So when they build towns and roads and streets in Dubai, you'll be driving down the road and next to you is sand. There's no grass, there's no dirt, there's no trees, there's nothing. So what they do is they build huge indoor hydroponic garden farms. And they can grow things all year round. It takes energy, right? It takes water, which they, thank goodness, they desalinate from the ocean. They don't So, and it takes light, and they use LED. So it's actually the hydroponic farms in the Middle East are actually much more environmentally friendly, even though they're in the desert, than some farms in America, because they're not sucking up so much water, because it's hydroponic, it's drip fed and whatnot. But you can get your blueberries and your zucchinis and your things all year round there, because they're not reliant on the seasons. And I think that's a way of the future for even places like the States, that with a little bit of investment into infrastructure, we can make food that doesn't cost a lot so that everybody can afford it.
Yeah.
Eat their blueberries in the middle of winter, and their cherry. Maybe not cherries because they're trees, but...
I love that. I love the view to the future and how we can be more inclusive and make sure that people are able to access food that's healthy for them, no matter where they are. But
yeah, absolutely. And if you can grow your own, look, people think that gardens are cheap. They're not. Like, setting up a garden is quite expensive. You don't grow food to save money. I can tell you that right now. But once you've set it up, it's there forever, right? So me, I never buy chilies ever. I just grow a chili plant, and it makes me so many chilies that I freeze them for the rest of the year, and I give them to my neighbors and stuff. So I just never have to. And then when that chili plant dies or it's winter, I just save the seeds and then grow them next year. So even though my garden might have cost me $1,500 to set up, I'm never paying for another chili as long as I live.
Yeah.
And with kale, I grow so much kale. It's not funny.
That is awesome. Terri, this conversation has been amazing, and I'm so thankful for our time together today. I've got one more question for you, though.
Okay.
How does hummus show up in your life?
I used to be an enormous hummus person. As I say, look, I've already told you, I lived in Dubai, and the hummus in Dubai is exceptional. And every restaurant you go to, because I'm a blonde white woman, they say, oh, this is the best hummus in Dubai every single time I walk into a restaurant like I'm an idiot. They all think they all used to think I was a tourist. But it is pretty good. They know how to make it really, really, really smooth. And I have purchased the Blend Tech blender. I've purchased the Ninja food processor. I have used the Vitamix squishy hand stick. And I just cannot get the hummus to be as creamy and smooth as the hummus in Dubai. But I like to make my own hummus. There's a recipe for hummus in my book, and it's without oil. Okay. And you may think, yeah, there's no difference, people. There is no difference whatsoever in the taste. Whenever I go to a Mediterranean restaurant and I order hummus, I always say no oil, and they look at me like I'm an alien. And I say, no, I don't mean you don't have to put oil in the hummus, because I know you already made the hummus yesterday, right? I'm not asking you to make me fresh hummus.
Right.
But I don't want like a little swimming pool of oil on the top of my hummus, because it doesn't add anything to my taste buds. It actually coats my taste buds, and I can't taste your hummus, which I'm sure is delicious. And I don't need that oil in my life. It's just added calories that I don't like. So I do tend to make my own hummus at home. My husband still buys hummus from the supermarket because he likes the one with the big blob of roasted garlic in the middle, or the big blob of tapenade in the middle.
Okay.
So I make that, and I just make it without oil. And I don't eat it a lot. If I eat it, it will probably be with rice cakes. Is that what they're called? Rice cakes?
Yeah.
And I also like to put hummus on my bread if I'm having a burger.
Nice.
Because I don't eat any spreads like butter and things like that. Yeah. And I think that sometimes you need a little bit of hummus on that. And of course, I do eat hummus when I go to Mediterranean restaurants.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, you have to.
Thank you, Terri, so much for being here with me tonight. I've loved this conversation. I can't wait for my listeners to hear it.
Thank you, Kimberly, for having me. And thanks for letting me just rabbit on forever.
No, I think it was great. Thank you. Welcome back. What a wonderful conversation. Terri is so fun, full of tons of helpful and motivating information. And I really appreciate that we got to connect about our dads and the relationships that we've had. It was really special, and I hope that came through, and I hope that you enjoyed all of it, but especially that. To connect with Terri, visit her website, fabuloushealthbook.net. Follow her on Instagram at fabuloushealthtlc and on LinkedIn at Fabulous Health. You'll also find a link to her Facebook group in the show notes. I hope you found this episode helpful and inspiring. Please subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're loving it, please give Did You Bring the Hummus a 5-star rating and leave a review. It's an easy way to keep supporting the show. Be sure to share these episodes with your friends. If you're finding something good here, they will too. If you're a vegan or know a vegan who would be a great fit for the podcast, follow the Be a Guest link in the show notes. Fill out the quiz and I'll be in touch. Get on my mailing list and stay up to date on all things Did You Bring the Hummus? Get more info on how you can sign up for a meditation, one of my programs, or to support the podcast via the links in the show notes. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram at Did You Bring the Hummus, and visit my website, didyouBringTheHummus.com, for more information about me, updates on what I'm working on, new podcast episodes, and all things vegan. Finally, I would love to hear from you. What do you need help with? Is there a topic you want to hear covered on a future episode? DM me on Instagram or send me an email at info@didyouBringTheHummus.com. Thanks for listening.